Data Sharing 2.0, the first open source data engineering book, 21 ways to boost your data analytics strategy and how the world will end this week. We have a lot to talk about. Welcome to the second week of March 2021 and welcome to the top 5 data AI analytics posts of the week. This is the data-driven CarCast, the weekend update where I review, highlight, recap for you what's hot and what's not in the world of data. And as usual, if you like this, make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, use and abuse this content. As always, if you click on the link down below to my blog, you'll get a nicely packaged slide deck with all references and links to the articles and references I'm going to make here. This past Friday, my friend Bernard Marr and I talked about what you might have missed in the world of data analytics in February. You're not going to want to miss this one. We talked about industry books, key trends in productivity, and we talked about data in sports. Now, little did I know that the next day, Saturday, was in fact the 10th year anniversary of my work with the MIT Sports Analytics Conference, the recordings with Malcolm Gladwell, my argument with Mark Cuban, and the presentations I did on stage, despite the fact that I had a broken ankle. I broke that ankle the weekend before playing soccer. So fun times. If you were there for that conference, thank you. And special thanks go to my friends Patrick and Eli. If you're a sports and data fan, this week was pretty unique as well. Lots of home runs and data slam dunks happened. For instance, if you're a basketball player, you're going to want to read the story of the Golden State Warriors turning dribbles into data for the win. If you're a soccer fan, you're going to want to take a look at my friend's article, Donald Farmer, who's got a great piece on the BBC to talk about how soccer, in fact, adopted slowly data analytics to their sport, whereas tennis, for instance, adopted very quickly a technology called like Hawkeye to make a big impact. And if you want to get away from technology in a little bit, there's a great human story I also shared about how Roger Federer played. I posted yesterday, almost 10,000 of you watched it. It's a pretty cool video. Take a look at it. Hopefully it'll make you smile. Now, all of this is great for sports, but what about regular organizations like yours? What are they doing? So to answer that, drop everything you're doing right now, take 9 minutes and 52 seconds, maybe 10 minutes to get an extra break, and go listen to Suresh Kumar from Walmart. He takes us through his journey and how he migrated more than 1.7 petabytes of data into a new data lake in the cloud. The interview is very rich, gives you a lot to get inspired in a very short amount of time. Like I said, 9 minutes, 52 seconds. I highly, highly recommend it. Now, if you listen to Suresh's interview, you'll probably establish a parallel with another resource I shared, which is an MIT article on the 21 stories to boost your data analytics strategy. There's a lot in that piece, and we're not going to go over the 21 of them, but I want to point you to at least 5 key ones. The first one is references around building the dream team and particularly who's going to lead them. Great research from the MIT folks there. Second is the business case for the chief data officer. This piece is great because it also includes data leaders from Raymond James and ING Bank. So they're talking about it at a first person level, really from their own experience. Then there's a piece on why unstructured data is an area that's ripe for growth. Now, I'm sure you know that the majority of the data we're dealing with, about 80% according to some estimates, is unstructured data. But I'm pretty sure you didn't know, at least I didn't, that only 18% of organizations report being able to take advantage of unstructured data. So 80% of the data is unstructured. 18% of companies know how to take advantage of that data. That piece can help you get there. And then finally, the topic on data literacy. We talked a lot about that, and it's been a lot of research, a lot of papers, a lot of companies talking about this. But the reality is that only 21% of companies or interviews or respondents, 21% of respondents are actually confident that their data literacy skills is helping their company. So this piece has 8 steps on how to fix that, and it's not just about technology and it's not just about culture. So take a look at that. Now, there's a said 5, and those were 4, because the final one is one that I'm very passionate about. It's the idea of data sharing. And MIT here shares research on what they call data sharing 2.0. So now this is a longer piece. It actually connects with a lot of research quoting companies like Schneider Electric, Anthem, BBVA, the NZ Bank, PepsiCo, and interviews of at least 23 or 24 leaders to understand what it means to do data sharing 2.0 and finding accelerators and activities that help every company do that. Now, you're going to want to take a little bit of time to read the piece, but at least from a context standpoint, it breaks up the issue of data sharing under 3 key areas. One is this idea of curated content. What type of content? How is the content being used, incorporated, and so forth. Second is designated channels. What are the workflows you're using in order to get the data in the first place, refresh it, share it, etc., etc. And then repeatable controls to make sure the right people have access to the right data, and also what happens when you need to claw back that data and so forth. A great piece. And really, it just talks about this idea of what you might call data analytics ecosystem. The fact that the data you have inside your walls is never going to be enough, and now companies are developing a muscle on how to do this right, and we're starting to learn. You'll see in this piece, for instance, Hilton reveals that they save 3% per year in energy procurement thanks to their data sharing capabilities and best practices. Anyway, it's a great piece. It's very well researched, and I really encourage you to go out and take a look at this. Now, if all of this was not enough to keep you busy and energized, I want to direct your attention to a few industry moments happening right now. The first one is the Data Wrangle conference. Now, that's happening in about a month. Today is March 7th. The conference starts on April 7th, and it talks to all data wranglers and data engineers. I'm sure that you know, if you're hiring them, that the data engineering profession is the fastest growing job in its category and technology according to DICE. And the conference has amazing chief data officers and data leaders from Bank of America, Eli Lilly, the CDC, and many more. And even better, it's free. So you can go ahead and easily sign up by following the link I'm putting down here in my blog. This is going to be a fun conference to be part of. It's a fun community effort, so make sure that you don't miss this one. Next week, just this coming Tuesday, IDC has their own conference called Directions. This is an industry analyst, and I suggest that you reach out to Dan and Ritu from IDC. The team's always done a great job with these conferences, very focused. The session on the big data elephant is going to be interesting, so if you have time to catch that, make sure that you do. And then if you have time for some books, there are 3 books that I want to tell you about. Actually, it's probably 4. The first one, as I said in the intro, I want to send a huge shout out to Oleg. He's the author of what I think is the first open source book on data engineering. And if you're looking to understand all aspects of data engineering, from the basic topics of databases and SQL and what is ETL, all the way to data architecture and big data stacks, this book is for you, and it's also free. In fact, if you follow my links, you'll get direct access to the GitHub, and you'll be able to just get the content simply by just going to the GitHub link. Second, huge shout out and kudos to my friend Everin and Yuri and Anita and Jesse for their book coming out, I think tomorrow or next week, called Data Governance, The Definite Guide. We've talked about this before. Governance is a big deal, and this book tells you how to master the science and art of data governance, and so really encourage you to take a look at it. And finally, if you're a space nerd like I am, and you want to know how the world will end, well, you can get it all from Neil deGrasse Tyson and his new book, Cosmic Queries. Now, Neil, if you know him, is funny, he is smart, his book is easy to read, just came out this past weekend. It's got a feel of brief answers to big questions by Stephen Hawking. So it's a book that I reviewed about a year ago in my Medium blogs. Take a look at that. And I'm putting the Stephen Colbert interview of Neil's review of the book. He's funny in it too, as you would expect, so take a look at it. And then before I forget, I said 4 books. I want to send a huge shout out to my friend Bernard Marr. Again, we started this update with him, and we'll end it with him because his book, Tech Trends in Practice, was just shortlisted for the Business Book Award. So congratulations, Bernard. It's amazing to be short-listed, and it's amazing to be an author in general. It's really difficult to get a book out. So with all of that, I want to make sure to thank you for your engagement, your comments, and your direct messages mean a lot to me. Stay engaged, be data driven, and I will see you next week.